player Will.
Welcome back, Visions fans. Ready Player Will here. This is not clickbait. This is the truth. Auras are in trouble in the game, and full credit to JB79 as well, and 2PM of the Valeria Guild that we discovered a little bit more today about how auras work within the game. And this is very complex, so if you're new to the game, I don't expect anyone to understand this. I only expect those really familiar with the damage calculations and physics to really understand exactly what's occurring. But let's talk about how auras work first and foremost. It's an active effect around a unit who activates it. So Summer Glaciella and Aldoa and Dario are some of the mainstay tanks who have a damage reduction aura around them. And to the teammates nearby them in that aura, it is considered a buff on that teammate. And JB had discovered this with Volk, who gives 25 unit res in his aura. But to teammates that have a unit res buff of their own, it does not stack with his aura, because the game considers the aura effect a buff to the unit. And since day one, we've always known this. Buffs of the same kind do not stack. That is not new. It just takes the higher of the two. But here's the big revelation. Because we've learned that an aura's effects on a teammate are considered a buff at the time of damage being applied, it means that aura effects are dispellable in that hit. Now, the aura effect returns after the hit because the aura itself has not been dispelled. Just the application of it on a teammate, which will reapply itself. And so let's talk more about what this means. To this point, most of the most impactful auras have been reduce magic damage or reduce physical damage, amongst many other things. And there have not been any characters in the game who've gotten a remove reduce magic damage or a remove reduce physical damage in the game. That dispel has not existed, so we've never really connected the dots on how this worked. Now, the new Gilgamesh in JP is the first unit to be able to do that, and this is poorly translated from wotv, but what this does is, on this diamond, it removes any reduction of magic damage. And so how would this work? Your unit would stand next to Dario in his aura with the reduced magic damage of 40%. Gilgamesh would attack your unit. Because this ability dispels magic damage percent down, it will dispel it on the attack because it's looking at your unit as if it has a buff applied to that unit, and it will remove the buff on this attack. The buff from the aura will reapply itself after the hit because the aura itself is still there, and nothing is permanently dispelled in the aura. Now, that is not the case for someone like Joom, who does have an actual buff that's reduced magic damage 25%. If Gilgamesh used this skill on Joom, it would permanently dispel it like any other dispel buff interaction in the game. And I have a video here that does demonstrate it, and JB did a similar video with Helena the Black Rose. This is consistent across all of the auras. What we're going to do for a test here is we're going to show that, number one, buffs and auras do not stack. We're going to show that. Number two, we're going to show that Joom on her Dispel can dispel the aura. And three, we're going to see how Dispel Seal, that Volk has, also confirms what's happening because he can seal Joom's ability to dispel the aura. I know it sounds confusing, but it's going to make sense soon. So what I have functionally going on here, you can see that Joom starts at 10 unit res. And you can see that Oberyn here starts at no unit res. Now what I'm going to do is activate Volk's aura, which is going to give 25 unit res to anyone around him. And so when we go ahead and re-examine these two units, Joom will have gone from 10 to 35, so the 25 is being applied, and Oberyn goes from 0 to 25, so you can see it's being applied. Now I'm going to have Volk, I'm sorry, just going around in a circle here for a second. What I'm going to do here now is Oberyn is going to use his buff, that's a teammate buff, that adds 25 unit res for 3 turns. And what you'll see when we re-examine them, that their unit effect has not changed. He's still at 25, and she's still at 35. So that buff to teammates does not stack with Volk's aura because it's 2 of the same buff. Now Volk is going to, and forgive me, I'm going to use haste here just for the sake of turn order. You can ignore this for a second. What I'm going to have Volk do next is have him activate his, first, Joom is doing a damage calc. 2582 is the damage to Oberyn, and what this is calculating in here is dispelling the unit res of the aura, because this is her dispel ability. What we're going to test now is Volk has the ability to seal enemy dispel capabilities. So what we observe is, after Volk buffs and hits June, this damage number will go down because she will not be able to dispel the aura effect. So 2582 is the damage. We're then going to see Dario in a moment here apply his buff that can seal enemy dispel capability. That's why I have haste, just to get his turn faster. We're going to have him attack June, so now he's sealed her ability to dispel buffs, so that when she attacks Oberyn now, the damage is less, and the reason for that is because she's not able to dispel the unit res of the aura. And so if this is the light bulb moment, if Volk did not have this ability to seal enemy dispel, then his aura would be useless against all general dispel in the game, because anyone can just dispel the buffs from his aura. The fact that he can seal it for people is what allows his aura to remain intact. But I know this is super confusing, but the net effect is that any character that gets introduced now that has this, remove physical damage reduction, remove magical damage reduction, can essentially ignore the aura effects when it does so. Now, the aura effect will reapply itself after, so it's not a permanent dispel, but that's a major game changer for how some of these units attack teams that have, for so long now, have been protected by the auras of these tanks. And so I at least wanted to share this. It's kind of groundbreaking in how we have come to understand auras. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll talk to y'all later.